Today on the Pursuit of Knowledge show, we have Romain joining us all the way from France. He's the founder of Arcads AI. And Arcads AI is a platform that makes talking head videos for advertisements and for other stuff using AI. So, Romain, what was the inception of the idea for Arcads and what can Arcads do today?
I come from a background of making mobile apps, and when you have a mobile app, probably there are two very important things you have to nail. The first one is making a good app, just making a good product, and the second one is marketing. You need to market the app, and we were spending a ton of time and money on working with UGC creators. You know, those creators who have a small audience on TikTok or Meta that you pay for the content that they create to promote your product, not really for the audience. And we were spending a ton of time working with them to create the advertisements for our apps. But at some point, we realized, okay, AI is going to disrupt this, and it's going to be a massive market because every single consumer product out there is going to use AI to create UGC. So we decided to sell the company, the mobile app that we had at the time. It was a wellness app, and to focus 100% on this new idea, which is how are we going to help other consumer companies create winning ads using AI?
Okay, before we talk about AI, can you explain what is user generated content for people who are not familiar with the word UGC?
Yeah, 100%. When you have a consumer product, you are always trying to introduce your product in a positive way. And very often you put advertising budget on that. Very good way to do that is UGC. So UGC is you find someone who is good at acting, who is good at talking to the camera and at making good content, and who will talk about your product in a positive way. And then you will use that to run ads, basically. And the UGC creator is typically someone who has a very small audience on short form platforms like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, or maybe TikTok. They don't necessarily have a big enough audience to make a living out of their audience, but they have the skill of creating good content. And that's a UGC creators, and that's what you use when you have a consumer product.
So I've used UGC creators a lot in my businesses, and there was this platform called Billow. I don't know if you know about it, but pretty much the workflow was you ship this product, whatever, jewelry, clothing, to this person, you send them the script, then they take this whole time to film this video, they send you the video, you give them feedback, and then they change the video, then you approve the video, then you finally have this ad, then you post the ad or you run it as an ad, you post it as content or you run it as an ad. That was a very long workflow. That was like the most annoying part, because when you're a new business, like, you want to make money, like you want to get to revenue like ASAP, and that was extremely time consuming. And before that, people were having in-house people to shoot content, and then these platforms came, and also these platforms like Willow were expensive. Like, one video could cost 100, 150, 200. So I'm guessing it's pretty natural why AI is going to disrupt that, because the workflow becomes really, like, you can validate your product demand really fast with AI and like test these ads. So what's the workflow with Arcads right now? How fast can you make an ad?
2 minutes, basically, you type a script. We have a library of over 1,000 AI actors. You can browse the library and find the perfect AI actor and click generate, and you will get an engaging video in 2 minutes, basically. And that's why it's so powerful. As you said, you go from taking multiple weeks, paying multiple $100s, to taking 2 minutes and paying a couple of dollars, and you get your video.
But what do you think about the uncanny valley, or like, the bad lip sync? People who say like, hey, these AI ads will not convert, or they're not gonna be valuable for me. Like, what do you say to those people?
Yeah, that's a great point. So when we started Arcads, and it was almost 2 years ago, so it was in January 2024, that was probably the biggest question we had. And already at the time, AI was actually quite good at making good content, but that's probably the first hypothesis we wanted to validate. As a business, when we launched Arcads, we wanted to validate multiple hypotheses. The first one was, do people want to pay to have access to AI UGC? Are they willing to test them? At least give it a try. And that's the first one. The second one was, once they give it a try, are they okay to put it in the ad account and to actually expose the brand to the content? And the third one was when it's in the ad account and when they are posting the content, does it perform and does it bring good results? And we were super, super lucky because when we first started with the first clients that we were working with, after 2 or 3 iterations, the ads that we were producing using AI became one of the top ads. When you are doing advertisements, typically you do 10, 20, 50 ads every week, and 10% of them become what we call winning ads. Basically, they take most of the budget and they get very positive return on investment. And that never happens where you test an ad and it becomes the first one to become a winning ad. But we were super lucky and it actually happened for the second ad we produced. So now we knew, okay, people are willing to buy this because, as you said, it's so painful to work with UGC creators. Also, it can bring results. So now it's just our capacity to scale this product as quickly as we can that will make the difference. And that's what we did.
Man, it's shocking how things have changed in the last 2 years. We just Google released VO3, 11 Labs released V3, and it's insane. It's even for me, I'm thinking like, should I still make content? Because I know a lot of people who've made AI avatars and they got the perfect voice down with 11 Labs, and they got the perfect video down. They have the best stock footage. Like the AI gets the hands right now. It gets the text right as well. Like it's getting to the point of really, really good. Like how much better do you think this is gonna get, or are we gonna hit a ceiling somewhere?
That's actually a very interesting question. I think to your point, like, should I still be making content? I think like 2, 3 years from now, every single piece of content, when it's advertisement or entertainment, will be AI generated. I mean, there is no doubt that will be the case. But for educational content, where you want to actually learn something, I still believe that that's where most of the human content will live. Because when you consume content on the internet, if it's for entertainment, you don't really care who is actually entertaining you. What you want is to have the entertainment. If it's an advertisement, in some case you might want to have like the brand associated to some personality, but again, even in that case, like, who believes like George Clooney is actually drinking Nespresso every day? I mean, I don't think so. So even for advertisement, I think most of the content we will consume will be AI generated. For educational content, you want to trust the person who is educating you and trust that they have a very specific knowledge. So for example, when I'm learning about like how to make a bigger business, I don't want to be learning from a 17 years old who hasn't like ever produced anything, who's just good at like creating content. I want to be learning from Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or whoever is inspiring me. So in that case, I might still be consuming human content, but yeah, I think like the quality won't be the question of like, will the AI be good enough that all the content that we consume will be AI generated? The question is more on which type of content will be AI generated and which type of content will be generated by humans.
I think you're onto something here because Meta just came out and they released a press release saying that by 2026 all the ads will be AI generated. And this kind of like sent a lot of shockwaves in the community right now because everyone's like, oh, there's ad agencies are going to die. There's not going to be any like people hiring actors. This will cause a lot of unemployment, no doubt, for sure. Because it's like every business I talk to is getting leaner and leaner now. But I want to talk about your team now. How, as a creator, you've done incredible numbers. I want to know how much have you grown in the last 2 years? Because it's quite impressive.
Yeah, so basically we went from 0 to almost 7 now, but 6 million ARR in yeah, 18 months.
That's insane. Do you like? I feel like you kind of predicted it. Like, I mean, you feel like you knew it. Why do you think what was something that hit right? And what was like one of your growth marketing strategy? I see you're active on Twitter. Like, what do you do that drives the continuous growth?
First of all, the thing you described is like, I think the mission of any business, like taking something that is painful, costly, and long and making it easier and faster. So the real aha moment for me was when we first started pitching this idea to clients, potential clients, because at the beginning, we basically used existing AI tool to produce ads to existing mobile app studios and e-commerce companies and agencies, and we were pitching them. We will produce your ads using AI. And I was like, okay, so I really vividly remember sending an email to one person I wanted to pitch this idea to, and the email was a link to a Google Drive with an AI generated ad. And the email was something like, hey, I generated this ad. It took me 2 minutes to make the ad, and here's the result. I think it looks good. What do you think? Something like that. And I was thinking to myself, wow, like obviously this is gonna be huge. Who wouldn't want to use that when you know the time it takes to produce actual UGC content with actual people? So yeah, that was the first aha moment when I was like, okay, this is a big idea. So the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, basically, which are make something people want, make something that solves a real problem. Like I know it's boring, but I think that's the main thing, the main reason why we grew so quickly. The timing was the right one. Like probably if someone were to launch the same idea now, it's probably too late because like people already adopted our tool. Um, and then obviously having the right channels of acquisition was key. I remember we had some competitors launching at the same time than us, more or less, and a lot of them just didn't get any traction. So you can sometimes get the right idea, but end up having no users or not the same level of traction. Um, and so for us, yeah, it was like I started posting content on Twitter, LinkedIn, because we had this experience in the past making ads and like growing consumer products. So we already grew an app to multiple million in annual recurring revenue. We sold this app. So the market,
What what was that app again, if you don't mind sharing?
yeah, so it was an intermittent fasting app. Basically, we were helping people in the US lose weight with intermittent fasting. And it grew mainly like 99% through paid marketing. So we learned like the hard way, how do you make it so people are actually converting into an app through paid marketing? And there are a lot of like things I learned during those years building this product and growing this product that I could talk about on Twitter, LinkedIn, and that's a very good way to then push arcades, which is a better solution to produce ads. So I kind of starting like publishing content on like how to grow a consumer product using AI, and that was our initial source of traction. And then the product was inherently viral. So I remember Sunday I woke up with uh, hundreds new customers every single hour. So we had this Slack channel where we receive a notification every single time there is someone who's making a payment, and the Slack channel was flooded with payments. And it was actually one of our users who shared a video that she made on Twitter. And this person didn't have even such a big audience. She probably had like 500 followers on Twitter, but the video was completely viral. A lot of Twitter influencers started reposting it, and it like became this like phenomenon. So just the product was inherently super viral. People didn't even believe it was AI generated. So that was the second push. And then we obviously worked a lot on a very large number of acquisition channels that you need to optimize when you have a SaaS.
Who is your ideal customer profile? Like, I'm pretty sure like there's a lot of young founders using your tool, but I'm guessing you're targeting more mainstream companies.
Yeah, so the ICP is people who understand that you need to be producing a lot of ads to succeed. And actually, the biggest companies, they don't A/B test so many ads. So if for your audience, like if they don't know, there is this tool called the Facebook Ads Library where you can go and see all the ads from any existing page. And if you go and look for the biggest brands out there, Coca-Cola, Unilever, or any like big corporates with huge marketing budgets, you'll notice that they don't necessarily run thousands of iterations, which you should expect because performance in paid marketing comes from testing a lot of different things. But these big corporates, they have a different approach to performance marketing. They actually don't do performance marketing, they do brand marketing. And the reason for that is they have to protect their brand. When you are Coca-Cola, you cannot afford to have a bad buzz. So you have to have a ton of control over the output of every single marketing campaign you do. Thus, they do very few different iterations on the ads that they do. The real ICP is a company that does test a lot of different ads with a very large budget, and sometimes the budgets can be very close to the budgets of these like huge companies, but they have a performance marketing approach where they test a ton of different creatives, and this is our target audience. So I'm thinking uh, performance marketing agencies, big lead generation companies, mobile app studios, um, e-commerce companies with significant budgets, companies like True Classic. If you look at the ads library of these companies, they do like thousands of ads. Um, Gaming companies, companies like King for Candy Crush, they test thousands of ads as well. So this is the true ICP.
Yeah, I'm guessing they don't test hundreds of ads because cost of creating content is so high for them. Like Pepsi or whatever. Like these campaigns they cost them millions of dollars. That's why they cannot test 1,000 ads. Okay, before we move on to new ideas, other ideas that in AI other people can do. Two small questions I had. What is the business model of Arcad's AI? And do you guys publicly reveal which model you use?
So we have internal models actually. In some cases, we use existing models. So you mentioned um, 11 Labs. They have a crazy voice model. So we don't want to compete with them on voice. So we just like use their model. But for most of the workflow, we actually have internal models. And what was your other question? The pricing, the business model. So basically, it's a subscription. Um, Everyone can go ahead and go to arcades.ai and start making ads with paid subscription. And it's credit based. So basically, the larger your volume, the lower the price per individual creation will be. And the standard price is 10 euros per generation.
Which is
$10.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing like
10.
$10. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that. I mean, again, it's like entrepreneurship about it's also about creating something faster, cheaper, and better. And you're kind of out there because I told you like the traditional UGC video would end up costing me like $100 or $150. So you've literally slashed the price by 1/10 or 1/15.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they convert. And right now, the cool thing about AI ads is because there's still not many ads on Instagram or that are AI. So AI ads tend to stand out a bit more right now. And I feel like that's why they can be actually like a good strategy to use AI ads because they can convert. Because they're just unique, compared to other ads.
Yeah, 100%. They are unique. We are seeing more and more of them. And again, um, in 2 to 3 years, it's not going to be a differentiator because everyone is going to use AI for every single piece of ads we'll see. And I'm pretty sure the adoption will be much faster than what we anticipate.
What's the next big thing you're working on Arcads? Like, what else are you guys innovating on or thinking about?
Yeah, so I think LLMs are getting much better, and we can assume that they are going to be getting better and better every single month. So when you do an ad, there are really multiple things you need to nail. You need to have a good script. What is actually happening in the ad? You need to have a good person, like who looks the way you want to look in the ad. You need the voice to sound good. and then you need to do a good edit. You need the final video to be amazing, right? And so far, we really focused on like the quality of the person and the voice working with 11 Labs. The voice is going to get better. Like they released their newest model, just the voice is going to be automatically better, and they are going to keep improving that. The faces are going to get better as well, and we are like working super, super hard to always be the best solution on the market, which I think is the case right now. The most engaging AI actors, if you want to create them, that's with Arcades for without any doubt. Um, but the next steps are, how do we use LLMs to help you come up with ideas faster so that you don't even have to think about what's the next ad that you should do? How do we use the data from your own ad account or from your competitors to come up with scripts that are likely to perform? And as a user, how do we make it easy for you to just come and select, manage the AI instead of having to come up with the whole ID yourself and produce the whole ID? And then once the video is generated, when you have someone who is talking, how do we make it easy for you to connect your existing assets, maybe screen records of your websites, of your app, of your maybe images of your product? And how do we make it easy for you to produce the full ad without having to go with an editor and using Adobe or whatever editing software you are using to producing the final ad?
That's insane. Wow. So you're pretty much making it so easy for people that they don't even have to prompt to write the script. You'll even predict that in
Yeah.
advance. That's, oh wow, that's another level, man. You're thinking in it like really ahead. I love that. Why is it that all these cool like avatar companies are coming out of France? Do you guys have a certain like engineer demographic? Is what's the reason?
We have a lot of engineers. We also have a lot of talents in the consumer space. I don't know if you're familiar with the company Voodoo, but they are like one of the fastest innovative companies in the world in the world of consumer. They recently acquired BeReal, which was one of the fastest growing social networks ever. So we have the combination of understanding consumer and also good engineers, basically.
Yeah, even the app. I don't know if you know Yuka app.
Yuka, yeah, they are.
Yuka also came out of France, and there's a lot of. I noticed there's a lot of food apps that are popular food apps, all based out of France for some reason.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting. Like, what part of France are you in?
I'm actually from the south of France, planning to move to San Francisco in the coming months because things are moving so fast that I think that's even though France is like a good country to be in and has very good engineers and good talents, I think that the true leaders of the world, like the open AI of the world, they are in San Francisco. So if we want to keep like innovating at the fastest possible pace and building the best company in the world, which I think we have to be there.
I think you're right. I used to live in San Francisco, and now I'm in Los Angeles, but San Francisco is insane. Like the talent density of founders there, it's there's always someone you're competing with, and it keeps you on your toes. Okay, so for people who are like, "Hey, Romain, this was amazing. Like you grew Arcades. Now I want to start a company in AI." And what's an area, doesn't have to be in consumer, but what are the other ideas like you would explore if you had free time?
I see a lot of companies having a similar trajectory than Arcades in the space of AI SEO. And there are multiple ways to call this, but basically that's the idea that now SEO is going to switch to Google, to LLMs, so ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and people are going to use LLMs to search for things. And there is like basically a blue ocean in this space of like softwares to help people maximize their chances of ranking properly in the LLM's responses. And yeah, again, I talked to a lot of companies in this space, and they made me think a lot of us in the early days. And we are still in the early days, by the way, but they are probably like 8, 12 months behind us in terms of growth and revenue, but I'm pretty sure they will be at the same stage as us right now in a couple of months. And that's a space I think is very interesting because everything has to be built in this space. Another one yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say a little bit context for the audience. So what Romain is saying is that SEO is changing ChatGPT is eating Google's lunch right now, and everyone is finding products on ChatGPT. So this new thing is called GEO. It's
Geo.
like
Yeah.
uh, GEO, which is helping people rank on ChatGPTs. I'm interviewing one company called promptwatch.com, and they're solving that problem. Actually, there's a lot of companies trying to solve this problem. The one thing I'm not sure is like how they're going to track the results, because OpenAI doesn't publicly reveal like ChatGPT, like OpenAI doesn't publicly reveal uh, like Google, like the search results and the Google Trends, that kind of thing. So I don't know how these companies are actually tracking if it's working or not.
Yeah, actually, I talked to a lot of them. So one of them even told me that they told with Sam Altman, and that Sam Altman told them they were not planning to release an API integration where you could see the search volume for certain keywords. So that's not happening. But the way they do it right now, at least, is basically they do API calls to OpenAI API to search for the keyword and to look at the results from different VPNs, from the different IP addresses. So that's how they do it right now. I don't know how sustainable this is, um, but that's a very interesting space where a lot of innovations are going to be made for sure.
Cool. What was the second idea?
The second topic, it's more a topic. I don't have a very precise idea of how people should do this, but you probably saw that more and more people are now using note takers. And I use a note taker for every single customer call I do. And when you are growing quickly, you end up doing a lot of these calls. And then the next step is typically to come back and do a follow-up uh, uh, email. So let's say we had a call, I pitch you ARCAD, and then 2 days after, I will tell you, hey, by the way, did you try this new feature that we just released? Or something like that. And right now, when you are growing fast, it's very hard to keep up with that because you basically do a lot of calls and you don't have a ton of time to manually follow up with every single customer. So basically, that's the purpose of a CRM. I will typically have a task in my CRM who will tell me, hey, you should like reach out to Manav and talk about this new feature that you have. I think this can be done with AI, and taking the information from one call to another to automatically send sequences and follow-ups to previous conversations you had is something I'm very excited about. So I don't know how this will look like, and if someone is building this, please reach out. But yeah, basically, I think that using the calls from the content from your calls of the day to potentially reach back and call back previous conversations you had is something that is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the next step. I've tested all note takers. They just do a poor job of following up. It's like using AI agents, right? AI agents take it one step further, and they actually do the work instead of just like presenting you the research. Have you experimented with this tool called Manus?
I did at the time when they were kind of viral, but I didn't follow up. Did they update recently?
No, it's the Manus came out of China. It's an AI agent tool that pretty much can takes it one step further. It's like ChatGPT but on steroids. Uh, it actually like goes on the browser and does like it can book your ticket for you. It can like it takes it one step further. And also this tool came out yesterday called Runner H. I'll put a demo on the screen for people watching. This one is super interesting. Like you can connect it to your Gmail, and it'll basically write a response to every email already. So you just have to show like go in each email, whatever like unread email, and it'll already have a response to each email. So you just have to like correct it and send it. So that's really cool.
Yeah, actually, that's something I'm very excited about as well. I tried a bunch of them. I tried Serif, I tried another one, Fixer AI. The problem I had with these tools is I hate the Gmail interface for emails. Um, and I'm like a big fan of Superhuman, this email client where everything is faster, is more organized. So what I'm really excited about is like when a company will either a superhuman will integrate these capacities, or a new company will basically replace superhuman um, by building a tool that is like as fast as superhuman, but on top of that has the AI capabilities to auto draft the emails and the follow-ups. And the follow-up is really the thing I'm excited about, because I think there is a lot of money left on the table on follow-ups. So many conversations you had in the past and you didn't close right away, but you have the opportunity to close now because there is a new data point, but you don't remember about these conversations because you didn't necessarily do the CRM work to update the company, etc. I think that's like a massive, massive opportunity. And when you save time to people, again, same idea as ARCADs. You take something that people already do, so basically filling out the CRM, doing follow-ups manually, and you make that faster, easier, then it's a massive opportunity that will generate billions of dollars of value.
It's really sad, but I recently made my virtual assistant in Philippines from full time to part time, and I replaced all her work with N8N, Make.com, and Gumloop. I pretty much hired someone and figured out every task she had, and I automated it with Make.com and Gumloop, and it's it's crazy. It's just a human cannot compete with Gumloop. It's it's physically not possible.
Yeah, I'm also a huge fan of Gumloop. And I think that's the second opportunity with AI. With AI, you can create a business that gets adoption much faster because now you can build a product that wasn't possible before and that solves a problem in a very unique way. But you can also keep the team super, super small and grow very quickly by automating a lot of tasks. So again, like that's a business idea for someone who is less technical, probably using Gumloop and selling automation to businesses. It's a boring idea. Probably tons of people are already working on that. But actually, I think there is a ton of value. If you are like not a developer, you don't have a specific skill, you just have to go on YouTube, learn Gumloop, and start calling some businesses and offering them to automate some parts of the business. And I think you're going to do great.
What's your I think what's your do you have any predictions? I don't know if you saw this news of Chat GPT, no, Sam Altman partnering up with Johnny Ive, and they're creating this new uh we don't know the form factor yet, but they're basically releasing this new tech product which is going to even replace iPhone. Do you have any predictions if that's going to be sunglasses, or it's going to be glasses, or it's going to be like a pendant, or it's going to be like a band? What is it going to be?
Yeah. So actually, on this one specifically, um, I think it's going to be a super competitive market because it's very easy to build such a product. All you have to do is to connect to the API of OpenAI, and it's basically a wrapper, but in the physical world. And I'm pretty sure a ton of drop shippers will actually um, build like a Raspberry Pi into a bracelet or something and sell that on TikTok and make a ton of money before it becomes too competitive. So I'm not even sure that there is going to be a huge winner in the tech world for these products. I my guess is the winner in this world will be from the drop shippers and from people who are very good at paid marketing. Because when the product is easy to copy and there is a lot of competition, the differentiation becomes your ability to market it properly.
Yeah, me personally, I don't really enjoy talking to ChatGPT on the voice model that much because when it responds to me, it's so slow. And instead, my workflow is I use this tool called Whisper Flow, and you just press one button on your Mac, and it types whatever you're saying, and then it responds back in text, so I can read it really fast. And I noticed for me that saves a lot more time instead of like talking, and it's so slow, compared to me using Whisper Flow to just immediately type something, and then it responds to me and I can read it really fast.
Do you use it to type text? Do you mean like to send your messages? Do you use that to send messages in Slack or?
Yeah, so I just don't type anymore. I press F9 key on my Mac and it types it perfectly. And usually, like if you use the traditional Mac voice memo, it gets it wrong. But Whisper Flow gets it perfectly right every time.
Interesting.
So you never have to type anymore, and it just like saves me so much time every day.
I'll try this one.
Cool. So, how can people use arcats.ai, and anything else you want people to take away from this podcast?
No, so Arcades.ai, sign up, self-serve, and I don't know who your audience is, but if they are entrepreneurs, um, learn how to distribute product because now with AI, it's going to be easier and easier to create product, and the best way to make a significant business will be to learn how to differentiate on the communication and marketing. Use AI to make your marketing. You will be faster than competitors. And if you master the skill of marketing a product, then you are unstoppable in the age of AI.
Amazing. And how can people can go on arcats.ai to use the tool, and how can people find you? Are you on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, Twitter, X, Romain Torres.
Thank you for coming on the show, Romain. We learned a lot today about how arcats.ai is disrupting the ad space, and they've really optimized the workflow for people like myself to use UGC content, because it can be really expensive and take forever to validate demand for a product that you don't even know if you're going to be selling in a year from now. So this is a great product solving a great problem at a great price. That's why it's been so successful. But really happy to have you on the show, Romain. We should do another like follow-up episode in a year or two to see where things are.
All right. Thank you, Manav.